make a difference and text CAR to 900 to win a car with Gamcell. Gamcell and Rotary Club of Bruceby brings you a chance to win a brand new SUV Corando. The more you text, the more chances you win. Join Gamcell today for your chance to win a car, fridge freezers, televisions, smartphones, and lots of cash prizes. Draws will be held live on GRTS TV. Proceeds will be used to help the humanitarian activities of the Rotary Club of Bruceby in the Gambia. Every SMS costs $10. Your SMS could save someone's life. Join us and text CAR to 900 today. A brand new SUV Corando awaits you. Rotary, making a difference. Gamcell, Yai Barong.
In today's world, everything imaginable is on the internet, which is amazing. And to find anything, it is easy. But that's not the case for Lami. His standard internet connection is frustratingly slow, unable to focus on important things in life. He can't stream a video or search anything. He is fed up with messages like address is not found, timeout connection, and Internet Explorer cannot find web page. That's when his friend Fatima introduces him to Gamtel. At Gamtel, we provide viable, cost-effective, and sustainable internet solutions to businesses and homes. With our nationwide fiber broadband connectivity through EcoOne Gambia project, you can now say goodbye to slow internet. We provide quality services, blazing speed, and amazing customer services. All these at affordable price. Be like Lami and start using Gamtel broadband internet today. Gamtel, creating a brighter future in communication.
Sophie meew la bu sell te neex baax na ci halal ak mag yépp am na calcium, iron, protein ak vitamine yu bari. Sophie full cream powder milk la am na 20 gram, 200 gram ak 400 gram. Ku ko ñam dootu ko bàyyi. Sophie, proudly Gambian.
Universal Properties, the dynamic and most trusted agency in real estate and property management.
We are here to make housing affordable, accessible for every Gambian, despite their financial status.
What makes Universal outstanding in the market is our flexible payment plans.
We set standards in sales and letting of quality properties, mortgage, leasing, rentals, property valuation, construction, and many more.
All our sites are fitted with social amenities such as schools, water, electricity, praying ground, and a good road network. In Sukuta Phase 1 and 2, Jambanjeli, Sanyang, Brikama, Lamin Daranka, and Gunjur coming up soon. Doing business with Universal Properties, it's a very wonderful experience.
Universal Properties, FIB House, Caraba Avenue.
For us, every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon, to make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy. That daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements, merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.
Stewart & Co. Solicitors, a legal excellence firm in London that can help you with all aspects of your legal work. If you are looking at immigrating to the United Kingdom, Stewart & Co. can help you to set up business, buy houses in the UK, and will deal with all your legal works from start to finish.
For all your general immigration work, we can help you with that as well. If you apply for any form of visa, whether student visas, settlement visas, marriage visas, or a child wanting to come to the United Kingdom to settle with the family, we can help you to achieve your goals.
Stewart & Co. Solicitors, a legal excellence firm specializing in conveyancing, immigration, litigation, family law, personal injury, licensing, no win, no fee. Contact us today at www.sk-solicitors.com.
Do you want the best in office supplies? Do you want value for money? Then look no further. Vital Trading Limited is here for you. Vital Trading Limited is the best in town when it comes to office supplies and all your printing needs. We brand, rebrand, design and print logos, flyers, caps, pens, 3D signboards, neon signboards, envelopes, and many more. We also have bank coin counters, bank note counters, fire protect safes, just to name a few. At Vital Trading Limited, satisfaction is guaranteed and we deliver on time. Visit our office today on the Bertel Harding Highway opposite the GNPC petrol station. Better still, call us on 4498756, 4498962. Visit our website today, www.vitaltradinglimited.com. Want the best in all your office supplies and printing needs? Then come!
Can't do small or big projects with the same dedication and commitment as we do. With a reputation as the leading printing company in the country, when it comes to major projects and innovative solutions, we always deliver in high quality, thus receiving the trust and confidence of our clients. From the moment your order is placed to when it is delivered, we believe in exceeding expectations from the sales manager to the production team, the account manager, and the person delivering your material. We have state-of-the-art equipment and a highly experienced and competent workforce that enables us to deliver top quality work on time. At reasonable prices, we provide our clients with multiple solutions right from conceptualizing, designing, printing, binding, publishing, and distribution. For all your printing requirements, we are strategically located at the Sankumsila Highway, the Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation. We print what you desire.
Tanal ma numba yung may tanal mabapi. Kani oli mala jox ci xibaar yeb doy la. Jëlal ma numba rek gowma la. Sëñ bi na nga def. Kii de dama ko jox xibaar gi ma dégg ci yéen. Waaw la toggee. Wax naa ko ne alxames bu nekk ak dimanche bu nekk dañ tànn juróomi nomba ci jackpot bi ko gagné juróomi nomba tegal nañ la xone dan plus 1000. Maanaam téeméeri junne ak lu teg. Waaw. Waaye juróomi nomba yi dafa war a méngoo. Su fekkee ne amoo juróomi nomba yu méngoo am nga ñeenti nomba yu méngoo yow dinañ la jox bonus foo du noonu la. Bonus foo. Waaw des na de. Altine bu jot talaata àllarba ak àjjuma. ñu génne waat beneen jackpot ne ku gi am ñeenti nomba yu lëkkaloo. ñu tegal $50,000 maanaam juróom fukki junni. Waaw waaye nag gis nga boo amee ñetta yu méngoo. ñu jox la tam bonus 3. Encore waaye nag xàmmee ko gis nga Gambia. Géem yi bari nañ de. Waaye gis nga bii green la. Xàmmee ko waaw xàmmee ko bu baax a baax feneen foo tax a bul fii di nga pet. Lu ma la wax yëpp dëgg la. Waaye xam nga lu ma lay xamal ma wax nga naan waaw dëgg la kay yow mi sa kanam guddi gi xam nga ne góoma la. Da ngeen may kompaloo man ngeen di kompaloo nañ dem ci office. Xanaa nermelu nga. Ma ne nee naa nga lañ laa wax. Nee naa la ku ko mën la ku koy jéem duñu benn. Ak loto game ak ay bonus sama xéwalam yu bari. Fii rek la du feneen.
Hello and welcome to another edition of KERR FATOU here at our studios in Kotu. We want to welcome you watching us on GRTS, on Wazi TV, and also on our Facebook page. Tonight we're talking about the role of the mayors and, of course, the role of chairpersons in our community. As you know, May 12th, we're electing mayors across Banjul and KMC, but we're also voting for chairmen across the 5 regions across the country. To talk about all of these, and of course the importance of voting. Recently we have seen that Gambians are not coming out to vote. But why are people not coming out to vote? What is the reasons affecting the turnout? And also, what is the importance of voting? As a Gambian, I think it's our civic duty to come out and vote, but most people don't really know why it's important to vote. So to discuss this tonight only, we have Mr. Madi Jobarteh, Program Manager at Tango, to talk to us about this very important topic. Madi, welcome to KERR FATOU. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
And of course, we have Mr. Baboucarr Nyang, National Youth Parliament. Of course, it's important to have a youth perspective of why are people not coming to vote. And of course, what is the role of the mayors and the chairmen that we are going to elect on May 12th. So, Mr. Nyang, welcome to KERR FATOU.
Thank you very much, Fatou.
And it's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Tonight, we're talking about the role of the mayors. Of course, first and foremost, why do we have to vote? The role as a citizen to go out and vote.
Fatou, welcome Mr. Jobarteh and Mr. Nyang. And I think we've really touched on a very important topic. As you've rightly said, just recently we've elected local government. We have elected councillors in our wards, and also now we're voting for a mayor and also a chairperson in other regions apart from KMC and Banjul. So I think it's very important that people need to understand the importance of voting. People need to understand that their vote is their voice. People need to understand that to effect change, I need to go out and vote, so that what I don't like in my constituency or to make a difference, people need to go out and vote. And also, we've talked about the low voter turnout. We need to understand what is creating that. But for me, I've looked at it and I'm thinking, I know when we get deep into this conversation, it would be very interesting to know, but I believe that the voter apathy is not really, it has something to do with people not understanding the importance of why they have to vote, but also there's a big number who haven't turned out to vote. So we need to ask ourselves, are these really ghost voters? Or are they just electors who have just been registered, but are they residents of this country? Because if you look at the numbers from presidential elections going all the way down to local government elections, there's like 40,000, 50,000 in some areas of people who have not voted. And I don't believe that people are sitting at that number of people are sitting at their house and not coming out to vote. So that is something, I guess, when we get into the conversation, it's something that we can look at. But yes, welcome again, and it's very important, and people need to understand, as we've all said, the importance of voting and why we need to vote. It's a constitutional right which we need to exercise.
Thank you very much, Oli. I think that is very important. That's an aspect that I have not really thought about, why some people, we have this number of people not coming out to vote. Mr. Jobarteh, welcome once again to the show. First and foremost, I want us to talk about the importance of voting in a country or in a community.
Yeah, thank you. We are a republic. That means the citizens of the Gambia own the Gambia.
Yep.
There's no power above our people, that our people take responsibility for this entity, political entity called the Gambia. And that, as the constitution states, the sovereignty of the Gambia resides in the citizens of the Gambia. So with that understanding, we now have a situation where we have to govern ourselves. And to govern ourselves, our country is demarcated into regions, constituencies, wards, cities, and so on, or municipalities. So that the question comes, who represents the people? Because all of the people cannot decide at the same time together. 2 million people. So we'll have to have a way to see who represents us.
Yeah.
And so that is the reason why we have democracy, and in our case we would say representative democracy,
so that we have institutions through which decisions are made, decisions about how resources are to be collected, how resources are to be distributed, how goods and services, facilities have to be created. And so, since all of us cannot decide that together at one point, we would have to elect among ourselves representatives. So, if one understands it that way, then one of the foremost responsibilities of a citizen to manifest your citizenship, to manifest your sense of responsibility and sovereignty is to go and vote. Because when you vote, you are now deciding who represents not just you, but who represents our various communities, knowing full well that those representatives are the ones that we have empowered by law to decide for us. And so, whether it's the president or the National Assembly or a councillor, we have given them the power by voting them into a representative institution like the local council to decide how to manage public resources at the local level, what goods and services should be provided to that local community. So that the Local Government Act has identified the role, the function of the local council, the area councils. When you understand it from that point of view, you realize that nothing in the world should make a citizen fail to vote. Because failing to vote means you have removed yourself from deciding your own fate. Your destiny, your future. But more seriously, it means you have created an environment for incompetent people to vote. Because if you and I don't vote, to be elected, if you and I don't vote, others will vote. And others may vote on other considerations that are not really national or for the local interests. They may vote based on other unimportant interests. And they may vote, therefore, in incompetent candidates who will not be able to make the necessary decisions, policies to provide the necessary goods and services, so that ultimately, when there is that inefficiency, weakness, poor performance of those institutions, the impact is on all of us. So it's really concerning, scary. You would have election in a country and a vast majority of the people don't vote. Then it means those people are really preparing their country for all of the problems that will come. Because it means the country is led by individuals that in a way, are not appropriate, simply because the vast majority of the people did not go to determine how those who represent us should be in office. This is why in some other countries around the world, voting is by law. By force, more or less. You have to vote,
or else you get fined.
Because it determines the quality of our democracy. It determines the quality of governance. Therefore, it determines the quality of our development. So the poor development in the Gambia, one can attribute it to the low voter turnout, because it means the failure or the lack of majority of the people voting has led to the emergence of weak leaders. And weak leaders means weak institutions. Weak institutions means weak service provision. That it means weak institutions means corruption. Weak institutions means poverty. Weak institutions mean human rights violations. So when you look at the problem of the Gambia or any society, from another analysis, you can pin everything down to the voting.
Lack of voting. Wow. That is very important. Very, very important. Mr. Nyang, we have seen a lot of young people not coming out. Why do you think young people are not interested in voting?
I think the worst comes, that is the lack of interest in the entire electoral process. One, it might be because they don't know those that are leading them. Because of one reason or the other. That has to do with people who are very competent to hold those positions. However, that should not be a yardstick that will lead them not to go out and vote. But these are critical things that they've been hearing from other leaders who were here before, telling them that we will do this for you, we will do that for them, for others, and we will do this for you, while they wouldn't do anything for them. This might be a reason why they are not coming out to vote. However, but if you look at the process, the entire process of the elections, they are all over it. It's either they don't have voters card to come out and vote, or two, they lack the interest that can pursue them for them to do. Like Madi said, lack of voting, it's just like having weak institutions, because at the end of the day, we're going to elect people whom they're not capable of being in those positions. But also, if you also look at it as well, leaders are not telling the people what and how it should be. If you look at the number of youth that follow the political parties, even in the mayoral nominations, that should have ring a bell to these leaders to tell them that there are a lot of unemployment among our youths. How are we going to address this unemployment to avoid all these people not coming to follow us during nomination, instead coming out to vote during election?
But as a youth leader, there comes a role that some of you play in that as well. As youth leaders, do you think some of us have failed in telling our peers that it's not all about following these politicians? It's about also putting out ourselves and making sure we are not just following politicians, but we are also being represented. We are choosing to lead these political positions. Do you think, as youth leaders, we have a part to play?
Yeah, we have a part to play. This is why we are on civic engagement programs and civic education. As I'm talking to you, we have colleagues, members of the National Youth Parliament, Activista, Hope of Tomorrow, Tango, and other institutions that are on women and youth empowerment are going out telling people the importance of voting, and also not to vote based on party lines, but instead for national interest. So we're also doing our quota, we're doing our best to inform those citizens, and especially who are these young people that are in this electoral process. However, but in any society, you see that some people are of interest to what benefits them, looking into the others. But us as youth leaders, we definitely encourage our young people to go out and vote. This is why we engage in so many civic engagement program, voter educations all over the country. And if you look at it also, we tend to realize that even among those young people, with the analysis of the last council elections, it's the elites that don't come out and vote. These are people that work in institutions. If you look at the roster or the register, the voting list register, you will tend to realize that it's people that are working in banks, people that are working as civil servants, whose names are not picked in that registers. So, and these are the people that listen to radios. One, is it because they don't have interest in politics, or is it because they don't trust the people that they that are standing to represent them? This is the fundamental question that we need to ask ourselves. And it is also important that we know, and the leaders that are leading us, to tell us that this is what they have for us, so that we can have the trust in also coming out in full.
Madi, this is a very important point. In our elections, I have said this, I wake up in the morning, my grandmother tells me, and other people like my dad and others, but when it comes to people like me, like you and others, it's always a trend, it's the people, the educated ones that don't go and vote. Why do you think that the educated folks who are supposed to lead are not interested in voting?
Yeah, I think number of factors. But just to say, we observe the local government elections. I mean, we've observed a civil society coalition and elections, public elections in this country since 2006. And constantly we see low voter turnout, and we've raised the issue. And this year we had said there needs to be a study to really determine what are the factors behind it. But I mean, as a practitioner in this area, my analysis, observation are that, first of all, it has to do with the political system, the political culture. People are not quite interested to go and vote, not just in the Gambia, but, particularly around Africa. One, it's about trust and confidence. I mean, how do you trust the political system, the institutions, even the parties, the leaders, that they will deliver? So that when you look at the Gambia from the First Republic until now in the Second Republic, all these elections, people vote, and you hear this saying, my one vote, what difference would it make? And this perception that politics is about dishonesty, politicians just give you promises that they wouldn't feel only for them to benefit themselves. So all of those factors affect the trust and confidence of citizens to go and vote. And particularly if you have a country like this, I mean, you have governments that you elect every 5 years since independence. Poverty is high, unemployment is high, services are poor, people's ability to hold the government to account is weak. You know, the perception that in fact the elections are rigged, you know, and looking at the performance of politicians as well, you know. So when all of these are combined, elites like you and me, at the end of the day, like the rest of the citizens, are frustrated, discouraged, but at the end of the day, you have your job. I have my good job. So whatever happens, I know I'm going to Tango to work.
But then,
get pay and
Madi, if the educated ones that know really what A and B is, for example, they don't participate in the process.
But that may be a misconception to imagine that the educated people really know. You know, being educated, like going to school to be trained as a journalist or a lawyer or a doctor, or, you know, doesn't necessarily mean you have political awareness.
That's what I'm saying, but they have more, what I'm saying, they have more level of understanding, awareness than the...
I think I'll need to come there, because if you look at the percentage number, like what Madi is saying, it's the political awareness that is needed. Like for instance, in the entire percentage of the overall voters turnout, you tend to realize KMC has 25% of the total number of 25%. And you go to Janjambure, they have 40-something%. Not Bank 40-something%. So now is the political awareness. So going to school, being educated, doesn't make you to be politically aware. So this is very important, like what Madi has highlighted. We need to be politically aware to be able to hold the people that we're electing as our leaders.
The role of the civil society in making people aware, the role of civil society in human rights violations over the years have been severely criticized. Madi, do you think you guys have a role to play in this, to help people get aware?
Yes, we came out of dictatorship, and folks got to recognize what is dictatorship. Dictatorship is real. So that those that are not involved, because what I have noticed when people raise this question, where were you?
Where were you?
I noticed a lot of folks actually became politically involved with the Gambia in the past 1.5 years, 2 years. A lot of people were on social media, but they were just taking pictures of their attire or either on the beach or their parties. But folks like these people, National Youth Parliament, every election for the past 10 years, I know, National Youth Parliament goes around the country doing civic education. They observe the election. Peace ambassadors, these are youth groups. You understand? So civil society has been doing work, but if they are not involved, particularly those Gambians that became just more interested because after the Solo Sandem protest and all of the things happening, people became more interested or engaged. So they begin to ask, but where were civil society? Yes, we never organized a protest. We never went to Kanina to have a wrestle with Hajame physically. Okay, but that doesn't mean because we didn't go with stones thrown at the State House or how the protest like Solo Sandem did. Therefore, nothing was happening. You know, a lot of things were happening, but as you said, we had dictatorship, and dictatorship is a life and death issue. All right, and I can tell you, a lot of civil society were instrumental in a lot of decisions that Yajame himself made, that the international community took about the Gambia. You remember 2011, ECOWAS issued a statement that they are boycotting the Gambia election because it was, I mean, the ground is on level. Now, folks may not know that ECOWAS mission came here and they had meetings with us, with civil society. And we gave them reports that influenced their decision. That even when Yajame said he banned FGM, it was not because he recognized the rights of women. You know, these are, it's a response to pressures from human rights institutions, from the UN to international organizations, based on also reports that we submit. and civil society that are not public, because dictatorship is real. So a lot of sensitive reports were leaving the Gambian civil society, going to relevant institutions around the world to give them what was happening here, reporting on what political activists, political parties were facing, the human rights violations that were taken in this country, place in this country, that you and I may not know. So when we get to this point,
and they're like,
why are you? So it's interesting. I know many instances. International human rights organizations came here. Some civil society activists, myself included, we crossed Barra, at night, crossed to Karang, a vehicle waiting for us to go and address ambassadors in Dakar, because we cannot address them here. To write reports. With organizations like Amnesty International, reports that went to the heart of UN. So if you are not involved, you would easily say, where were they?
How were you?
Because you just got into Facebook, it just became hot because after the Solo Sunday protest and so on. So civil society has a critical role to play. And they are playing it. But that aside, we have recognized that as civil society in the Gambia, that just like the political parties, just like the private sector, just like ordinary citizens, Gambian civil society was also suppressed by the dictatorship. And in that circumstance, what do you expect? Everyone now would be left to decide, because this is a life and death issue. When Solo Sunday got up, he took a personal decision. I'm sure if Solo had told his wife, his children, or his party leader, or consulted you or me, I would have said, no, Solo, I don't think you will kill yourself. So dictatorship that's the nature of dictatorship. Citizens got to a point, you take your personal decision, because it's a life and death issue. Data took a personal decision to do what he was doing, and he paid the highest price. And we can count many cases of that. So sometimes I find it quite not only ignorant, but insulting for any Gambian to ask any other Gambian, where were you? As if you, Fatou, went to Kanila to have a fight with Yajan. No, I didn't. And you never did.
No, never.
So what moral authority do you have to ask me or Oli or this guy, where were you? So civil society, as I said, we have recognized that, that our role is fundamentally critical, in the Gambia, like in any other society, the role of civil society, that we have to now reposition, rebrand, refocus ourselves. And that process has started going on. Just last week, the Minister of Information gave his press conference. In his press conference statement, he made reference to the Civil Society Coalition report on the local government elections, the councillors' election. I was talking with someone and was surprised there was something like this, a civil society council election, and they produced a report like that, and was impressed with the report. I said, yes, because you people are not involved, you don't know. I said, go and check the 2011 CSO report, that I am part of the drafters, that we put it there that the Gambia election 2011 was free, but was not fair. I said, we reported the 2011. We raised critical issues highlighting the malpractices of APRC. You go and read that report. And we shared that report publicly. You see? But as I said, if you are not involved, you don't know. And then now you come and
because the media was not very...
The media too may not carry that because we are all in the same situation. But we had raised critical reports. You go and read the civil society report on CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination.
Camera rolling. Action.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Hi.
Have a seat.
Thank you. My name is Oli. I'm from EJ Investments.
real estate and trading company.
Wow. And I was just thinking about houses, you know. What can your company offer me?
Oh, let's do it again. Sorry.
Of course, rightly so. Because when you have your resources, you invest, you want profit.
Yeah.
Okay, the public sector, let's say the state, it has a purpose, and that is to protect our rights and to fulfill our needs through the provision of goods and services. That's what's the purpose of the state. But we know is the state in most times is focused on power, how to keep power and maintain power.
Yeah.
Public officers, public officials, politicians want to seek, acquire power to enjoy the privileges, the positions, and the resources that come with it. So that in many, many cases, the state is not fulfilling its obligation to the people. This is why you have poverty in countries. This is why you have human rights violations in countries. This is why you have poor services. Because the state, we just had electricity go off here.
Yeah.
And the purpose of the state is to make sure we enjoy uninterrupted electricity supply, because we and I pay tax to make it available. So that when that happens, you will see that citizens will live life that is a life of deprivation, of poverty, of misery. So civil society became a concept and a practice that says, okay, this state needs to be checked. All right, this private sector needs to be checked. Look at what Golden Lead is doing in Gunju, for example. But at the end of the day, private sector can be very unethical. They don't care about humanity, they don't care about the environment, they don't care about peace, about the future. They just want to make profit, exploit resources as much as possible. So there must be some entity that would hold the private sector to account to make sure you protect the best interests of the people. And this is the rationale for for the civil society. To hold the state to account, to hold the private sector to account, but also because the state is limited. There are many parts of the Gambia where the Gambia government is not present. There are communities in this country, there's no presence of government. Whether in terms of institutions, whether in terms of services. Go to a village, there's no local government office. There's no local government service coming there. There's no central government presence, like a police station or a health center or a school, or a road or electricity. These are all public services that are absent in vast majority of our communities. Even the support they need to have. And in many of those communities, you have government, civil society supporting those communities to get food, to have implements to farm, to have access to water, to have schools to send their children. This is the rationale for civil society. That folks have to understand. We are not substitutes of the government, but we are watchdogs, but also we are service providers. And when our watchdog role is when we engage in advocacy, in holding the government to account.
Wow. We're going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, the role of mayors and mayoresses, and of course the chairpersons. Next week is election. People need to be enlightened, so we take our first commercial break.
The Gambia Revenue Authority wishes to inform the general public that income earned from the letting or leasing of property is taxable as per the Income and Value Added Tax Act 2012. In this regard, the general public is hereby informed that payment of rental income tax is an obligation on any person who earns income from letting or leasing properties. All rental income earned from properties in the Gambia is subjected to rental income tax. There are two types of rental income tax. A residential rental income tax charged at the rate of 8% of gross rent received. Commercial rental income charged at the rate of 10% of gross rent received. It is important to note that failure to declare and pay rental income tax is illegal and punishable under the Income and Value Added Tax Act 2012. To pay your rental income tax, rush to the nearest GRA domestic tax office or any of GRA's designated banks. Remember to pay your taxes and on time. GRA, collecting revenue for national development.
Now that I have saved some money to build my dream home, I'm really confused about which estate company to approach. My friend had a bad experience with a particular estate agency after completing his payment and could not even get his title deed. This is serious.
Good afternoon. How are you? Thank you. My name is Oli. I'm from EJ Investments.
I'm a set.
Thank you.
You know, I must say you came at a very right time.
Really?
I was thinking about houses.
Great.
What can your company offer me?
EJ Investments can offer you a lot. We're unique in the market.
Okay.
We own our properties and we ensure that they're developed with modern technologies. They're affordable and they are strategic locations. We don't just sell pieces of land, but we create settlements.
What makes your company different from others?
We're different from all real estate companies in the Gambia because what we have to offer is affordability, safety, and security. We ensure that you get a legal contract from when you pay your deposit, and within 4 weeks of paying your final settlement, we make sure you receive your title deed.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
That's interesting.
Yes. Now tell me, what real estate serves your needs?
It's absolutely EJ, investment, and real estate agent. Now that I have saved some money to build my dream home, I'm really confused about which estate company to approach. My friend had a bad experience with a particular estate agency after completing his payment and could not even get his title deed. This is serious.
Good afternoon. How are you? Thank you. My name is Oli. I'm from EJ Investments.
I'm a set.
Thank you.
You know, I must say you came at a very right time.
Really?
I was thinking about houses.
Great.
What can your company offer me?
EJ Investments can offer you a lot. We're unique in the market.
Okay.
We own our properties and we ensure that they're developed with modern technologies. They're affordable and they are strategic locations. We don't just sell pieces of land, but we create settlements.
What makes your company different from others?
We're different from all real estate companies in the Gambia because what we have to offer is affordability, safety, and security. We ensure that you get a legal contract from when you pay your deposit, and within 4 weeks of paying your final settlement, we make sure you receive your title deed.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
That's interesting.
Yes. Now tell me, what real estate serves your needs?
It's absolutely EJ, investment, and real estate agency.
Welcome back. I think the first part was really interesting, Oli. You don't want to touch Madi or the civil society. But only, I think it's important that to talk about the role of the mayors. We have seen people campaigning on social media and other platforms. And, you know, when they talk to these electors, and people don't really know the role of mayors. They don't know the role of chairpersons, but they say, so sanile kinga hamnesi party la neka, molaf because party bi moko support. So it's important for us to talk to people about these roles.
Fatou, lolu is very, very, very important. Because nit ñi dañ wara understand that it's not about borom taxawu fa pour parti bi waaye dafa taxaw pour nit ñi dégg la dafa taxaw on a party platform waaye nit ñi soo li ñu war a seet mooy competence bi ndax kii taxaw nii nañ faate fi moo taxawee diw sàngam bi ni ñëw ne man maa bëgg a nekk KMC ndax KMC si jafe-jafe bi ñu nekk mun nañu cee génne ndax KMC problème yi ñoo dunda mun na koo liggéey because KMC municipality bi soo ko seetloo problème si ñu am bari na du KMC rek sax foog naa constituency region si yi Gambie yëpp la soo léegi li ñu war a seet mooy buñ seet ne kii mu ngi taxaw si parti sanga mel ni parti boobu mooy ñëw def liggéey bi parce que noonu lañ ko ñeneen ñi noonu lañ ko understand ne suma parti laay taxawal suma parti laay sànni mel ni sa parti boobu mooy ñëw def liggéey bi waaye nit ki mooy def liggéey bi dégg la nit ku nekk nag am na ñu la boot am na ñu nekk sa gannaaw soo war ngaa seet tam kii ñi ko boot nah mun nañu yóbbu dëkk bi lan mooy fu luñ jublu si dëkk bi ban interest lañ am si dëkk bi waaye Fatou ma wax leen loo xam ne dafa interesting because si beginning bi maa ngi ko doon wax voter turnout bi dafa low notice nañ ne nag dinañ just seet ñu ne KMC ak Brikama Area Council ak Banjul comme fu mel ni Banjul soo seetee presidential elections ñu ngi amoon let's say nga ne about 13,000 vote nit ñoo vote 9,000 vote National Assembly waaye 8,800 vote nañ local government. So many digante National Assembly about 200 people rek ñoo voted. So comme fofu ñu ñi gëna nañ. Why the New KMC it's like half of the number. 112,000 people will vote in like presidential elections. 76,000 vote in National Assembly. 54,000 rek vote local government. So normally about 50,000 plus ñu sani wuñ. Légui question bu moy ana ñooñu ndax they are ghost electorates. Dañ leen register rek ñu ñëwoon vote dem ndax fii lañ dëkka ndax dañ mer 50,000 it's a big number pour vote in digante presidential elections and local government. The same moo xew tam Brikama Area Council 173,000 people ñoo vote presidential while by local government about 84,000 rek a vote. So there's again almost about 80-something thousand voting in Brikama Area Council. So yen ñi nga xamne da ngeen dé dugga ci grand understanding ñu ma bëggoon rek na ngeen gëna lan ngeen fogg ne more in this big voter apathy because tagu ma ne ñu ñëñu dañ tok seen kër it's too the number is just too big.
That is really interesting. Yeah. What would you think would be responsible?
Again, maybe a number of factors, but it could be that they just sat at home.
Yeah.
They didn't vote. Okay. It could be they are ghost voters because, you know, if you could recall, up to 2016, when we have elections, you will see people transported in large numbers and parked at Gambia College or President's Award Scheme or Wadna Beach Hotel, coming from Mauritania or from Casamas, across the border. And you know, could those people Gambian voters or not? But this time around, we didn't see those large numbers come. And I recall when APRC had their Congress in February 2016, I was at home, you know, it was on GRTS, and they were bringing in voters' cards collected per region. You know, and when I counted what they put there, I counted 265,000 voters' cards was what was placed in front of Yajama in their Kanila Congress in February. So, which goes to highlight one thing. The election, you know, because you hear people say Yajama steals the election. And even people would credit the change to the on-the-spot counting. And I tell people, no, election day, cheating doesn't take place in the Gambia. If it does, because I've been observing elections in this country for a while, public elections, presidential, local, and National Assembly. You know, cheating takes place at registration. Either non-Gambians are registered, maybe double registration, underage voters are registered. So the issue now, based on what you are highlighting, this voter turnout, I think what we need to call as part of the research to try to get to understand why. One of the things we should also recommend is IEC to do a voter audit. You know, to really look at whether all of those voters' cards given are really given to Gambians and to people of age. All right. To try to understand how could this vast difference take place. You know, so that has to happen. Now, on the other issue of the mayors, their role, or you see, we are a republic, and we have a central government. We are not a federal government. We are a government with central authority. But then the Constitution provides for local governance, which has to be based on democratic principles. So we have a Local Government Act,
Yeah.
2004,
yeah.
you know.
Which a lot of people say need to be looked at.
Yeah, definitely, it needs to be looked at. Some amendment was done, but that is why we are having these chairperson election.
Yeah.
Because that was originally, and then it was amended and then removed. But yeah, we need to seriously look at the Local Government Act. I hope it will be one of the laws Barrow would review. He already said in his campaign that when he takes over power within 6 months, he will review all laws that, you know, undermine democracy and all of those popular participation. He is now 14 months, he has failed to do that. So we hope he will do that as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think I watched his interview and he said, BBC, he said in the next 1.5 years or 2 years, they will have new laws.
Well, I mean, there are multiple laws that needs to be looked at, really.
Yeah.
So this is one of them. But, you know, as it is, anyway, the Local Government Act is very clear about the role of the local government, you know, system.
Yeah.
The structures there, the area councils, you know, what they should do. And to a large extent, they are not doing that. They are not doing that by design and by default. Okay. By design in the sense that deliberately, the Jammeh regime undermined the capacity of local councils to perform. They have removed many revenue sources from local councils, you know, to be paid directly to GRA or to some other, to central government anyway. That takes away their resources. Also, the local government has a finance and audit instrument called the Local Government Finance and Audit Act, which also states that 40% of the revenue of local government should come from should be for operational purposes. 60% should be for development purposes. And 25% of that development, you know, budget should be provided by the central government. But I think since the 2004 Act, the central government does not provide that 25% subvention to local government. So meaning local governments have been seriously under-resourced. And then again, by design, you would see how that regime had severely politicized the area councils. We did a lot of trainings on participatory budgeting, on budget tracking, on human rights, you know, for local councils across the country. And they will tell you, like KMC, they'll have a July 22nd celebration, or Ajam's birthday, or Independence Day, and the councils are expected to hire 20 gele, for example, transport so much number of people. So those kind of expenses were put on them. You understand? You know, within the whole political environment in which the necessary independence and professionalism that should obtain within the local government system was lacking. You know, and so they cannot have competent professionals. Even if they have, those professionals cannot perform, you know, in an enabling environment because that wasn't there.
That wasn't there.
Yeah.
But do you think that's why you think we need the right leaders, the radical leadership in our councils? Because we had some of the mayors here and we had on the show. For example, if central government is supposed to give you 25%, but if you're always going to say yes sir to the central government, you're not going to ask for that. And you're supposed to ask for that to be able to help your people. That's why we need the right people in councils.
Yes, I think it goes back to, okay.
Yeah, no, that's right. Like what she was saying about selecting or electing people that are not only partisan, but people who are very capable and can do the job. Let's say, for instance, Gambians are so connected to power. That's the reality. They just follow those that are in power. This is why you're seeing so many people following anybody that has the biggest party or whatsoever. Those that were in the other party yesterday are now following this party today. Yeah, because that is the reality. They're so connected to power. This is why we have incumbents or people that have the highest number of people in parties leading for so long. So, but we have to graduate from those things. We have to think now, think critically to say, look, we have to get serious politicians, serious leaders who are coming to lead us and have what we want. Because let's say, for instance, KMC, where I live, how many people can tell you that in the last 2 to 3 years they've been receiving garbage from KERR. No, they've only been getting it from private institutions that are offering the service of garbage collection and taking them to where it's it's stamped as to be the most dangerous place to be. That is the back of the dumping site where people are, and it's and those are the responsibilities of the municipalities. Those are the responsibilities of those people that are elected in offices, for them to take up this responsibility to say, okay, these are our people that put us in this office. We're not looking for any party whatsoever. Though you can belong to that party, that's fine. But also for us, the electorates, we need to look at those people that have the municipality at heart. These are the people that that they have clear manifesto, that this is what we want to do, this is what we want to outline. I cannot vote for anybody who doesn't have a manifesto for us. We have problems in school. There should be scholarship schemes in the municipalities and the local councils. Are they being given? What is the criteria for use in giving those? There are a lot of our youths, our students, who can't pursue their tertiary institutions because they're underprivileged to have those things. So these are the things that we need to look into, and we can only have these things if we have serious leaders who we elect in these positions that are responsible and have the heart of the municipality and also can take the municipality forward. Like coming back to also what Madi was talking about, this the central government not fulfilling their mandate. This is why we need to have institutions. Like we need to strengthen our institutions, and these institutions need to be independent. Because if you have an independent institution that can execute its function independently, you will not be worried about. But if the if the institutions are dependent, and the government is remote controlling them on certain issues, then it's a problem. Therefore, we need these laws. Now again, like President Barrow has told us that he was going to, look into all those laws, repeal the bad one, and bring up. You need to look at them now. If not, we are still in the former regime's attitude of doing things, and this is why some people even got or been trapped into things that were passed. Let's look at the Public Order Act, for instance. These are things that are still in existence, and it has been in existence. So if somebody meets with you outside and says, I'll shoot you today, do you think the person is joking? No, he's not joking, he's saying the truth. Because there is something that is defending that person to do that. So therefore, we need these institutions to be looked into and also give them the due that they have, like the municipalities, both the chairpersons and the mayors, for them to be independent. And execute their duties properly.
Madi, the quality of candidates is important. Radical leadership. Do we have to vote party lines? Do we have to? I mean, we all belong somewhere. But what I've observed recently in our election, tribe.
Yeah, I think all of that is failure of our political leadership across the board. Ruling party, opposition, everyone. It's a failure of leadership of our political parties to allow such a narrative to exist within your party, even if it is not your party policy. Even if it is not the policy of the party leader. But each of our political parties have a responsibility to conduct civic education. They have a responsibility to uphold democratic values. They have a responsibility to ensure good governance. This is in the law. That is the purpose of the political parties. And political parties are important. They are important instruments because they are our instruments of governance. Ultimately, political parties are the ones that get elected to control state power and run the government. So political parties are not a joke. They are very serious, and folks, of course, will have to support parties for local government elections or national assembly or president. But our parties must at all times, and that is what the Election Act says. I mean, that they have to uphold, the best interests of the Gambia at all times. So the fact that we have dropped to these sectarian narratives, for me, I blame all the parties for failing to fulfill their responsibility. Having said that, I was talking about how by design or default the local government system is so weak. You see, we cannot have quality candidates also in our local, particularly for councillors, because when you look at the Local Government Act, it has not addressed the welfare of councillors. Councillors are the lawmakers at the regional level. They determine resource distribution, and they are in charge of the protection of our rights and the fulfillment of our needs at the local level. So it's a very important job. But you'll be surprised to know local councillors have no salary. They just paid more or less an allowance. The last time I checked, you know, it wasn't anything more than $2,500 to $3,000. So it's essentially like a voluntary job. And so that is not motivating. Because much as you want to serve your society, I mean, you have to also live a life. You have to feed a family. So we have to make our local councils also, you know, rewarding to the point that I want to leave my job to go and serve you know, with my passion for service. But at the same time, in that service, I would be able to also live a decent life.
Would that even encourage corruption? Because if you are paid salary, you know, whenever you see any way of getting money, you will...
Corruption and patronage, because where local councillors are poorly paid, without any facilities, services, incentives, then they become... they will be at the mercy of the mayor or any government that controls them, who can give them some token sums like that, and so they become powerless, they become voiceless, and that explains why our local councils have been transformed into political bureaus and, you know, sycophancy and all of those things. So, which goes back to the need to look at the Local Government Act. You know, when we say local government, national governance, we have to be serious about it. You know, and citizens must be concerned, must be serious about this and get involved and vote. So that we hope with this new environment, the new councils themselves would, first and foremost, when they get in, will look at the legal and institutional setup of the local governance system to agitate for reforms, serious reforms. You know, but once they are supposed to do that, let me say to Gambians, get out and vote. You see, local government is the closest to the people. We have a government, a central government, and we know the role of the government. But our republic is structured in such a way that we have local governments which are closer to the people to address the immediate needs of the people. So nobody should joke with the local council, because when fire erupts in your house, you know, when flood takes place, before the central governments react, we are expecting local government to first react. If you have refuse in your house, all right, the local governments will be the one to come and pick it and dispose it of. In the Local Government Act, local governments are supposed to provide education from kindergarten to senior secondary schools. They should build it. Local councils should provide health care. So they should have built clinics, health facilities. Local councils are responsible for secondary roads. It's in the Local Government Act. They are responsible for the management of our forests. You know, so they have a fundamental role because the services, the functions that they perform, those functions are the ones that address our immediate needs. You know, and so if folks don't understand it that way, and we think local governments are nothing, it explains why, therefore, you go to Borabat, nothing is happening there, even though we are in the Nyambore Area Council. You know, we pay compound rates, all right, nothing happens. You know, is the reason you go to Sangajor, the Brikama Area Council, nothing happens. Or you go to Bajana in, you know, somewhere. So local councils are very, very important. They are directly linked to our lives in the immediate period, you know, before the central government comes. You know, so this is why nobody should joke with local government elections. For me, it is the most important election when it comes to really our daily lives. This street you have here, the street lights, these are things that the local government should provide us. Our immediate, every local government area must have its, you know, police force to keep us safe. You know, and you know, so many services, goods are there, facilities that they should provide. But again, as I said, by default or design, they are not being able to do that because we had a particular regime in the past. And we hope this new dispensation we will address all of those things to, you know, in order to speed up our development process.
Well, finally,
Well, to notice now, this time, the candidates we have, I think we have a very good quality candidates.
Yeah.
But before we go, I just wanted to know, why do you think we have a lot of people running for these elections? Because in KMC we have 10 people. In Banjul, small Banjul,
local government, we had 400 candidates.
So why do we have a lot of people wanting to come out and represent the area? Yes.
I think we have about 40%.
We have a lot of youth participation.
I think it's also because of the political will.
Okay.
Yeah, there is a political will, and before, for instance, one of the factors that I have to come back to what Oli was saying. One of the factors that led people not to be interested in voting. Let's say, for example, in Foni Jarol district, there have been only one candidate who was contesting for elections. You sometimes even not only Foni Jarol, but there are some other constituencies where only one candidate will be contesting without unopposed. So therefore, there was no political will for people to be interested. That could have even lead for people. Before I go back to Foni to get a voter's card, let me just get it from Combo, because when I get it from Combo in the presidential, I can vote anywhere. But when it comes to local, I know somebody in Foni that stood, for instance, but the one that is in Kanwe, I don't know, so I'll just be reluctant to say, someone there has been standing for this position, the person I know, but I cannot go there to vote. Those are also some petty things in the electoral regulations that are here. So we also need to review all those things, like the IEC has a big tax in the electoral reform process, that because we have to look at all those things, this where you register, that's where you're going to vote, and all those stuff needs to be reviewed and looked into. And also, like, looking into the quality of the candidates as well. They are good, they are fine, but however, they also need to be scrutinized and scrutinized more to see, like, look, what do they have for us? Because of, it's not because political will and you're just to pay 1,200 something, 50 just for it, and get 50 something voters card, 75 voters card and come, it's easy. People can give you 75. There are people that got 300 in the parliament and have less than that number in the vote. So therefore it's important that we also look at those things, though there is a political will, and this is why the youth are now participating.
But in terms of the numbers, it's good. Democracy is about choice. Probably one thing, the fear element was out. People can go and contest. In the past, maybe a lot of people hesitated to stand up politically openly, because it's a dictatorship again. So the fact that now we are having many people emerge, and even many parties will emerge, it's good. So that ultimately there wouldn't be one group to dominate.
Yes, definitely.
So that puts power to check. It gives people the ability to therefore determine who runs their affairs, and it gives power to the people, because ultimately all of those 400 candidates will have to come to us. And very well, we have 400 or we are 10 candidates in Banjul. I'll have to improve myself some way, to win votes.
That also push political parties to bring out good candidates.
So it's good, and I hope we will still see more people come out, more parties come out. I mean, that's democracy. This is the only option we have. Or the best option we have. Otherwise, it's dictatorship, or we go to arms.
Wow, thank you very much, gentlemen. I think before we go, your final message to the youth population. What is going to be your message? Let them come out and vote. It's important, Baboucarr.
All the youth of this country, from Koina, Kiang, wherever you have to be or you are staying, please, if it means paying $1,000 to go back to your constituency and vote. Please do it. We are calling on the youth, especially those people that are very interested and very well interested in politics, to come out and vote. And please let us encourage also our fellow young people to come out and participate in this coming election, especially in the mayoral and chairperson that is next week, inshallah.
Wow, Madi.
Yeah, just buttress the point he said. Let people go to vote. If there's a weak area council, because of weak leaders, it is our responsibility, because we did not go to vote for the right candidates. Because a lot of us did not vote. So those who voted, they voted for some other consideration. They didn't care about other considerations, so they produced that kind of candidate. So if you want to see your community clean, if you want to receive services, efficient services in your community, if you want to enjoy opportunities in your life, if you want to see yourself develop, you have your ideas, your initiatives, your resources to invest, to grow, create good leaders. Put them in institutions and hold them to account. But the starting point is vote for those good leaders. And then the job continues. I want to tell Gambians one thing. The concept that politics ends when election is over is false. Politics right now, even your breakfast is about politics. You know, the bread you buy at the shop is politics. The attire you buy is about politics, because it's politics that determines the cost of everything. You know, it's because politics determines, creates the policies through our presidency, through the parliament, through the local councils. The decisions there, those decisions have economic significance. They have social significance that impact on our lives. So everything in life is determined by politics. So politics never ends. And there's nothing like I'm not interested in politics. That is basically saying I'm not interested in my own life. Let somebody take my life and do whatever he wants to do with it. So let governments understand that this politics is your life and your future. So let folks come out and vote. This is what I want to tell Gambians.
Let's folks come out and vote. I think a very important message. Oli, what for you?
I have the same message. People have to come out and vote. Let's not vote on tribal line. Let's not vote on gender. Let's not vote on...
Actually, I want people to vote for women candidates.
No, we should not vote on gender. We should not vote on tribal lines. We should not vote on kiss my friend like hamna mamam. You know, we should vote the competent person, because we're coming from dictatorship. Gambia, KMC, Banjul, and all these regions, they need to revamp ko. They need to defarat ko. So we need that person who can sit there and make that difference. So what I'm telling people watching Moy, your vote is your voice.
You're a good citizen. But definitely, I think we're going to have Madi and Baboucarr here again. You know, human rights violations, what is happening in the country. We need to talk about this. It will be good to have you on that panel again, because it's going to be interesting. Thank you so much, gentlemen. If you're watching and you're home, please go out and vote. It's important. This is one of the most important elections in our communities.
Who is a candidate?
KMC, everybody knows. Definitely. Actually, I'm going to announce my candidate by Friday. So, I mean, like every other Gambian, I have a candidate too. So I'm going to announce my candidate on Friday. See you and good night to you. Bye.